Since returning to power in 2021, the Taliban has surprised the world with a series of ambitious mega projects. Far from merely building roads or buildings, they have taken strategic steps to gain full control over the country's vital resources, such as water, energy, and mineral wealth worth trillions of dollars. These projects not only have the potential to fundamentally transform Afghanistan's landscape, but also to reshape the geopolitical map of Central Asia, drawing the attention of major powers such as China. Afghanistan has long been in a difficult position. In fact, it can be said that no country in Asia is as geographically trapped as Afghanistan. It borders Iran to the west, Pakistan to the south, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan to the north, and China in the Far East. Historic trade routes once crossed this land, but decades of war severed those connections, turning them into logistical islands. Because of this, the Taliban has redrawn their map. If goods from Central Asia want to reach ports on the Arabian Sea, the shortest route passes through Afghanistan. If China wants secure access to Central Asian markets and minerals, the gateway also lies in Afghanistan. And if Uzbekistan and Pakistan want to cut down transit times, one of the answers is a railway cutting across the Hindu Kush. Thus, the Taliban's infrastructure ambitions are an effort to turn geography into political and economic capital. This new reading of the map was quickly put into action by strengthening Afghanistan from within. One of their most monumental projects is the Kosh-Tepa Canal, the largest man-made canal in Asia, stretching across the northern desert of Afghanistan. With an estimated cost of $684 million, the canal is designed to divert 20% of the flow from the Amu Darya River, irrigating 550,000 hectares of barren land. If successful, this project will increase Afghanistan's arable land by 1/3 and potentially achieve food self-sufficiency. However, the project has sparked diplomatic tensions. Neighboring countries such as Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, which rely heavily on the Amu Darya for agriculture, view Afghanistan's move with great concern. In addition to the canal, the Taliban is also actively constructing a series of hydroelectric dams across the country, such as the Bakhshalabad Dam. These projects have three main goals: to reduce reliance on imported electricity, to provide stable irrigation for agriculture, and to serve as geopolitical leverage. In other words, Afghanistan gains significant influence over downstream countries dependent on its rivers. Remarkably, the Taliban is seen as more effective in tackling corruption than previous governments backed by the United States, which for decades hindered similar projects. Beyond natural resources, the Taliban is reviving the ambitious Kabul New City project. This is not merely housing construction, but a vision to create a modern metropolitan city nearly 1.5 times the size of present-day Kabul. It is planned to accommodate up to 3 million residents in 250,000 housing units. The first phase alone has already involved hundreds of millions of dollars in investment to build tens of thousands of homes. Its grand vision includes universities, shopping centers, hospitals, and integrated green spaces. If completed within the next 30 years, it would become one of the largest planned cities in Asia. At its peak, the Taliban is capitalizing on Afghanistan's strategic geographic position to become the heart of Asian trade. In this regard, the Taliban has signed agreements with China and Pakistan to extend the $60 billion mega corridor into Afghanistan. This step will provide China direct access to Central Asian markets, as well as Afghanistan's vast mineral reserves. The Taliban is also constructing the Trans-Afghanistan Railway. This $4.8 billion project will connect Uzbekistan with Pakistan through Afghanistan. The 573-kilometer railway is expected to cut transit times from about 35 days to just 4 days, an extraordinary leap in efficiency. So far, the Kaf-Havat Railway, which connects Afghanistan with Iran, has already been operating, giving the country vital access to seaports and global trade networks. Here, the Taliban's message is clear. You may not recognize our government, but you cannot ignore our geography. Furthermore, the Taliban has revived the Tapi gas pipeline, and the CASA 1000 Power Project, two cross-border energy initiatives that are central to their economic strategy. After being stalled for more than 20 years, the Taliban has surprisingly restarted construction of the $10 billion Tapi pipeline, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. Once completed, it will transport 33 billion cubic meters of natural gas annually and could generate nearly $1 billion in yearly revenue for Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the CASA 1000 project aims to deliver surplus hydroelectric power from Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Uniquely, the World Bank has approved the continuation of this project under a special scheme in which payments are managed outside the Taliban's direct control, allowing it to proceed despite the government not being formally recognized. So, how does the Taliban fund all this? The answer lies beneath Afghanistan's soil. Mineral wealth estimated at trillions of dollars, including lithium, copper, and rare earth elements. The Taliban has aggressively begun extracting and taxing the mining sector. One prime example is the Mes Aynak copper mine, where China has finally begun operations after a 15-year delay, now under Taliban security guarantees. Revenue from this sector is then used to finance other infrastructure projects. This creates a cycle. Mineral wealth funds the construction of roads and tunnels, which in turn make further mineral exploitation easier, and so on. As proof of their seriousness, the Taliban has successfully rebuilt the Salang Tunnel. This vital tunnel connecting northern and southern Afghanistan was once considered one of the most dangerous roads in the world. However, with $100 million in internal funding, the Taliban completely overhauled the tunnel, which had been the site of frequent fatal accidents. This step demonstrates strong political will and capability in completing difficult projects. The Taliban's ambitious measures show a clear vision of rebuilding Afghanistan into a self-sufficient economy with significant regional influence. By leveraging natural resources and geography, Afghanistan has the potential to rise from decades of hardship. Nevertheless, the success of these mega projects will heavily depend on political stability, managerial capacity, and their relations with the international community. Whether the Taliban can realize this grand vision will determine not only the fate of Afghanistan, but also the balance of power across Central Asia.